Help me reach 9,000 subscribers. Support the video with a like and leave your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. Thank you. She stood in the doorway tying her hair and scrolling her phone like I wasn't in the room. I had a reservation at a quiet place near the lake, linen tablecloths, decent steaks, the kind of Thursday night that used to reset us after a long week. I told her. She didn't even look up. I've got plans, she threw over her shoulder. Girls' night. Do it another time. Another time when? I leaned on the counter, keys in my hand. Don't start. I said later. If I'd known where that later was headed, I would have skipped the reservation and started packing boxes right then. She brushed past me, perfume and cold air, and the door clicked behind her. The house felt like a hotel lobby after checkout. I ate a sandwich, deleted the confirmation email, and told myself not to read into it. People get tired. People drift and come back. That's what the blogs say anyway. Date your wife. Be the rock. Don't nitpick. I can be a rock. Rocks don't beg. Morning. She was sugar sweet to the dog and quiet with me. Coffee cup, laptop, blank face. I set my mug down and tried again. Saturday, I said. We could drive up to the overlook, take the trail, hit a diner on the way back. She kept typing. I told Claire I'd help her with her closet. It's a thing. A closet's a thing. She shrugged. You love your projects. Let me have mine. Right, I said. You love closets. Her smile had no shape. Mark, please. I finished my coffee, put the cup in the sink, and made a decision I should have made earlier. I stopped waiting around her calendar. I blocked out my Saturday for the shop, tuned up the mower, scheduled 2 client calls. She could have her closet festival. I'd be busy too. No announcements, no performance. Just a rule. I don't chase calendars, I fill mine. That night, I messaged my buddy Kyle. You still doing the cookout Sunday? He was. Good. New plan. I'd show up, bring a tray, talk with people who answered when spoken to. If she wanted to join, great. If not, no one would miss a grim silence at a picnic table. She came home late again and went straight to the shower. I folded laundry at the table. Her phone lit up on the console with a message, face down. I didn't touch it. I don't go fishing in mud. Still, patterns draw themselves whether you want them or not. More girls' nights. Less time in our kitchen. Jokes about how tired she was. How many people couldn't take a hint. As if boundaries were a sport and she was competing for medals. Saturday morning, I left early. The mower started on the second pull. I cut the backyard clean, edged the driveway, rinsed the truck, and when I came inside, she was already dressed, leggings, makeup, gym bag for the closet project. I nodded to the door. Text me if you're back after 10, I told her. If it's later, crash at Claire's. I'm up early Monday. She frowned. Why? Because it stops being a home when it turns into a bus station. We keep each other informed or we change the routine. That's controlling. No, I said. It's adult. She held my eyes for a second, then grabbed her keys and left. The dog looked at the door and then at me. Don't ask me, I told him. I'm the one paying the mortgage and losing arguments to gym bags. Sunday at Kyle's, the yard was full of lawn chairs and plastic tables. Kids on scooters. Football on a portable speaker. Kyle's wife, Jen, waved me over. Where's Madison? She asked, passing me tongs. Helping Claire with the closet. Big day for shelves, I said, and flipped a row of chicken like it owed me money. Jen grinned at that. Then someone else asked where she was, and I repeated the line. People nodded. Closets, got it. Mid-afternoon, Madison showed up anyway. Hair perfect, smile turned to 11. She kissed air beside my cheek. Hey, she sang for the audience. Traffic was awful. Kyle's brother, Mason, made a joke about better late than never. She laughed too hard. Then she waited for applause that never came and turned to me. Did you save me a plate or did you punish me for being a woman with friends? She said, playful on the surface. Edge underneath. I handed her a plate. There's food, I told her. Use the tools God gave you. Jen coughed into a napkin. Madison rolled her eyes. You're in a mood. Not a mood. A boundary. Food's over there. She walked away, but not before tossing a look at Jen like I'd made a scene. I hadn't. People's ears go up when someone pokes their husband in public like he's a folding chair. I let it hang. I've learned that you don't chase tone with tone. You stand straight and let it land where it lands. On the drive home, she started. You embarrassed me, she said, staring out the window. I declined the play, I replied. You asked me to perform a little show. Protective husband keeps a plate like a good boy. I passed. There's a buffet. You're capable. That's petty. What's petty is the setup. Don't do it again. I don't do public pokes. She folded her arms. You're overreacting. That's your favorite word lately, I said. Right next to later. She didn't answer. Fine. That night, I drafted a second rule and delivered it like a memo. I'm separating the accounts this month, I told her as I put 2 bank envelopes on the console. Bills get paid, savings continues, but discretionary gets split. You spend yours, I spend mine. No questions. Why? She drew the word out like a complaint. Because it's cleaner. And because we shouldn't subsidize you being somewhere else all the time. If we're together, great. If not, also fine. You handle your fun, I'll handle mine. I can't believe this. Believe it, I said. It starts Friday. She stared at the envelopes for a long second, then softened on cue, like a stage light shifting. I know I've been distant, she said quietly. I'm stressed, Mark. Work is a mess. Claire's going through stuff. I'm trying. Okay, I told her. Then try on Wednesday. I'll book the spot we like if you want to reset. She nodded. Book it. I booked it. Wednesday, she wore a dress I hadn't seen in months. We sat near the back, and for the first 15 minutes, she was present. We had a decent run reading the menu and trading small jokes. I let myself ease a notch. Then the phone came out, turned face up. She apologized for one thing, then another. That screen took more eye contact than I did. Her stories drifted. How someone at the gym kept trying to chat me up. How it's exhausting being a woman. How you wouldn't understand. I asked about work. She gave me 2 sentences and switched back to, you should see the messages I get. You like the attention? I told her. No, she said, smiling at the knife. I like being noticed. I cut my steak, chewed, and counted to 5. You're noticed at home too. She shrugged. It's not the same. I leaned back. Then enjoy your audience. I won't compete with a parade. She looked up, annoyed. You're being dramatic. Or specific. Choose one. She put the phone away for 10 minutes. We paid and walked to the car. In the lot, she slipped her hand into the crook of my arm as if nothing had happened. Thanks for dinner, she said, softening again. Let's do this more. Let's do respect more, I answered. Dinner's a prop. I'm here for substance. She dropped my arm. You always know how to kill the mood. 2 nights later, she crashed at Claire's. She didn't text until after midnight. I read the message at 5 and replied with a thumbs up. At 7, I was in the shop finishing a built-in for a customer. The radio murmured. The wood did what wood does when you treat it right. At 10, my coworker Sam stopped in to pick up a tool he'd left. Sam's ex had taught him the cost of denial. We didn't need to say more than 2 lines to understand each other. She's still doing the disappearing act? He asked, looking at the half-assembled cabinet. She's practicing for a tour, I said. Calendar split starts today. About time, he said. Want coffee? I want to get paid for this install and not discuss Instagram. He grinned. Man with a plan. Good. By lunch, Madison texted, dinner at home? I'll cook. First softening had turned into a performance. I said yes and came home to a spaghetti night and a playlist we used to put on Sundays. She moved around the kitchen like the old days and asked about my project. I played along but kept my mind clear. After we ate, she offered a back rub. You're carrying a lot, she said. Let me take care of you. Take care of the respect, I told her, and stayed at the table to finish invoices. Her face flashed irritation and then reset to nice again. You know what? I'm trying, she said. You're making it hard. I'm making it clear. She busied herself with dishes. The dog watched her, then me. Buddy, I told him, if I could get you to sign documents, my life would be simpler. She was out late the next night, then early for the gym the next morning. I kept my mouth shut and my rules steady. Calendar separated, money separated, no audience for digs. By Friday, she was careful, even affectionate. By Saturday, the mask slipped. We were supposed to meet Kyle and Jen at the farmer's market. At the last minute, she texted our group chat, running late. You guys go. We went. In the middle of picking tomatoes, I saw her on the opposite side of the square, not late at all, laughing with 2 guys I didn't know. Nothing wrong with laughing. But there are laughs you give friends and laughs you give your reflection. This was the second kind. I raised a hand. She saw me, quickly looked down, and then reappeared by my side 5 minutes later with a breathless story about bumping into someone from a class. Which class? I asked. She waved that off. Don't be weird. I let it go in the moment. Jen caught my eye. She didn't say anything. She didn't need to. New thread opened. What exactly was Madison doing with her off hours? And why was I getting the crumbs? I closed it later that night. Living room, lamp on, TV off, the dog under the table. I sat across from her and told her we needed to talk. Not therapy voice, not a plea, not a fight. Business. What now? She said, already rolling her eyes. Now, I said, we drop the act. I'm not accusing, I'm observing. You're mostly absent. You light me up in public. You keep the home for convenience and the rest of your life off-site. If that's your setup, say it. Then we pick a path. She laughed without humor. You're paranoid. I have friends. You also have a husband. Is he invited to your life or just to your laundry basket? Stop being bitter, she snapped. If you were more fun, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I'm plenty fun, I replied. Ask anybody who isn't trying to turn a marriage into a waiting room. She leaned back, crossed her legs. You want honesty? Fine. I can leave anytime. Men line up. They want me. They ask me to marry them. Right now. She smiled like she'd pulled a lever. She expected the usual. Panic, backpedal, bargain. I nodded to the hallway. Excellent, I told her, calm as a receipt. Door's right there. Her smile collapsed. I was joking. I'm not. You're being ridiculous. I'm being done. You won't do anything, she said, recovering with a little smirk. You never do. I stood, took my keys from the bowl, and picked up my jacket. Watch me. She followed me to the door. Where are you going? Out, I said. Tomorrow I have a meeting. With who? Someone who writes in ink. She laughed in my face. You don't have the nerve. I opened the door, felt the night air, and turned back just long enough. You've been testing a fire alarm with a candle for months. You're about to find out if it works. I slept on the couch in the office that night. In the morning, I went to see a man who deals with endings. No drama. I explained my rules, my lines, my evidence in the form of absence. He asked questions. I answered. He used a pen. I used clarity. Paperwork got drafted. I signed where he pointed. I walked out lighter. At lunch, Madison appeared at the shop doorway holding a takeout bag like a peace offering. Sam was at the workbench, headphones around his neck. She smiled at him first. Hey, Sam, she chirped, like we were teenagers, and she was the homecoming queen. Hey, he said, and wiped dust off his hands. She turned to me. Bright eyes, a little too bright. I brought lunch. Your favorite. I ate. I told her, tapping the ledger. You don't have to be rude, she said, delivering the second softening. Too sweet, too sudden. I'm not, I replied. I'm busy. Sam looked at the floor. She stepped closer, voice low. I overreacted last night, she murmured. I miss us. Let's not blow up over nothing. I glanced at Sam. We can talk at home. Business hours are for business. She tilted her head, studying me. You're actually serious. Serious enough to change my will, I said. Take the food with you. Her smile died. So this is how you treat your wife. Stone cold. At work. This is how I treat disrespect. Anywhere. People talk about control like it's volume and not choices. They forget that the quietest choice is sometimes the only one that matters. That evening I didn't announce anything. I set logistics. I changed the pins, paused the joint card, left her an envelope with her new budget amount and a short note. Bills paid, essentials handled. Discretionary separate. Communication by text for logistics. Out after 10. Stay with Claire. I moved my clothes to the guest room and locked the office. I wasn't punishing. I was compartmentalizing. She could keep her fog. I'd keep my air. She found the envelope in the kitchen and blew up. You're not my father, she spat, waving the note. Correct, I replied. Fathers rarely require signatures. You think you can just cut me off? No, I said. I think I can stop funding my own disrespect. Essentials covered. The rest is on you. You can't do this, she said. It's already done. She paced the room, then softened again, third mask in a week. We can fix this, she said, stepping close, fingers on my arm. I was angry. I say things. You say things. Let's reset. You and me. No more rules. We only need one, I said. Mutual respect. Without it, we're roommates with a ring. She leaned in as if to kiss me. I moved back half an inch. Her face hardened. "You're going to regret this," she said. "I already regret waiting this long," I answered. She slept in the guest room. I set my alarm early and went to the shop before sunrise. On the way, I picked up a storage bin and a roll of tape. I don't do theatrics. I do logistics. By noon, the paperwork was filed. I didn't post anything, didn't make calls, didn't try to win a narrative. I drove home calm. Madison's car wasn't in the driveway. I let the dog out, filled his bowl, and sat at the table with a list. I wrote 3 lines. Keys. Bags. Where to? Then I went to the bedroom and pulled her suitcase from under the bed. I set it upright beside her dresser. I opened drawers and paused. You can pack a person's life in 20 minutes, but dignity is not a sock. I left the drawers and took down a box of her keepsakes from the top shelf. Old programs, a ribbon from a 5K, a book with a note in the cover. I put those in the bin gently. Then I sat down and waited. She walked in at 3 wearing a smile I now recognized as a tactic and stopped when she saw the suitcase. "What is this?" she asked, voice flat. "An early start," I told her. "You'll stay at your mother's for a while." She laughed, but it came out wrong. "You can't kick me out of my home." "I'm not. I'm asking for space while we unwind what's left. I've covered your essentials for the month. Your mom knows you're coming." "You called my mother?" "Yes." "You are unbelievable." "No. I'm finished." She put her bag down hard. "I'm not going anywhere." I stood, not loud, not big, just upright. "You are. Tonight. You don't have the right." "I have the boundary," I replied. "You've been out most nights anyway. This formalizes your choice. Pack essentials. I'll have the rest boxed and labeled." The front door opened and Kyle stepped in without ceremony. He'd texted he was nearby, and I'd said I could use a hand. He saw our faces and froze. "Bad time?" he asked. "Perfect time," I said. "Grab the bin from the hall." Madison turned on him. "You're helping him?" Kyle met her stare. "I'm helping my friend be clear." She swung back to me. "So that's it. You and your little crew decided I'm a villain." "No," I told her. "I decided I'm not a prop." Her jaw tightened. "I'm not going to my mother's," she repeated, like saying it enough would turn it into concrete. I took the house key from the bowl and set it on the table. "Keys on the table when you leave. I'll change the code at 10. If you need anything, text. If you want to talk about respect, talk to yourself first." "You'll regret this," she said again, but her voice shook. "Stop promising me a future you don't control," I said. "Pack." She stormed down the hall and slammed the bedroom door. Kyle raised his eyebrows. I shrugged. "You sure?" he asked quietly. "I was sure yesterday," I told him. "Today I'm acting like it." We waited in the living room. The dog curled next to my boot. Madison came back with a half-filled suitcase and rage in her eyes. "You're not the man I married," she said, dragging the suitcase to the door. "I wanted to be," I answered. "You wanted an audience." She grabbed the handle, then let go. "You won't go through with all that paperwork. It's empty talk. You need me." "I need air," I said. "And I have the paperwork." She swallowed. For the first time in a long time, I watched the controls slip and hit the floor. Then she picked up the handle again, rolling the suitcase over the threshold. She paused on the stoop. "This is stupid," she said, softer. "We could fix it if you'd stop doing this." "Doing what?" I asked. "Expecting respect?" She said nothing. I held the door and looked past her into the driveway. "Your mom's waiting," I told her. "Don't keep her standing." She walked to her car, threw the suitcase in the back seat, and left without looking back. The street went quiet. Kyle exhaled. I sat down, wrote a short text. "You'll receive the summary of what I filed. Essentials forwarded for 30 days. After that, you handle your life. I'll handle mine." She didn't answer. Good. Silence is cleaner than drama. The next weeks were all logistics. She tried one more time to reverse the weather. She showed up at my office lobby in a fitted dress, carrying a bag of pastries with a smile like the sun was finally out. The receptionist looked at me. I shook my head. "We're not doing surprise lobby scenes," I told Madison. "If you have a question about the dog's vet appointment or mail, text." "You're really going through with this?" she whispered. I already did. She set the bag on the table. "You're cruel," she said quietly. "No," I replied. "I'm consistent." She left the pastries. I gave them to the janitor on my way out. No trophies. The rest played out like a long, slow turn of a wrench. Papers moved. Accounts untangled. I kept my voice even and my steps short. I didn't argue over old photos or who bought what lamp. I cared about the house and the tools. The rest was noise. The man with the pen did his part. I did mine. People asked. I answered little. Sam knew enough to keep his mouth shut. Jen hugged me at the farmer's market and told me I'd done the grown-up thing. Carl stood ready when I needed to move a box or change a lock code. I made a point of being clear one more time in public. Foreign territory, new rule. At a Friday happy hour for work, a coworker asked where Madison was. Taking her own path. I said, I'm taking mine. Simple. No gossip. The final email came on a Tuesday morning. I read it once and closed the screen. I walked out to the truck and sat there with the door open. The dog stuck his head out the window like he understood. I scratched behind his ear. That evening, I pulled the last of Madison's boxes from the hall closet and stacked them by the door. I sent her a message. Your things are labeled and set aside. Pick up Wednesday between 6 and 8. Carl will be here. I won't. She replied with a single word. Fine. She came with her mother, collected the boxes, dropped the key on the porch rail, and left. I wasn't home to watch a scene about nothing. I was on a night run through the old neighborhood, counting streetlights like reps. When I got back, the porch was clear. I went inside, locked up, and sat at the kitchen table with a glass of water. The house sounded like itself again. People think endings come with fireworks. Mine came with a sentence and a quiet door. Months later, I live a life that fits. I kept the house, kept the tools, kept the savings I earned. I tightened my operation at work and picked up 2 bigger contracts. The shop hums, and I don't stay late to avoid my own kitchen. Weekends I see the lake, take the trail, and stop at a no-name diner where the eggs arrive fast and hot. I bought a gray pickup that doesn't stall when I need it most. Saturdays, the grill gets a workout and the guys drift through with their stories. Sometimes I meet someone for coffee. Sometimes I don't. I don't chase. I don't sell. I select. Madison. Last I heard, she's working the register at a grocery store near her mother's place. No ring, no audience, just fluorescent light and long lines. That's not spite. That's the map. When you spend your prime years auditioning for strangers, eventually the theater goes dark. She told me men were begging. Maybe they are, but none took her home. I'm not angry. I'm busy. I'm saving for a piece of land up north, a little workshop with windows that face the trees. I see my friends more because I'm not babysitting someone's performance schedule. When I go out with a woman now, I don't pitch or prove. I watch. If she respects, we continue. If she plays, I end the scene midline. People ask me what I'd say to Madison if we ran into each other. I'd say nothing. I'd hold the door if we were headed opposite ways and let her pass. If she tried for a speech, I'd nod and go. My last words to her are still my favorite because they weren't loud, they were final. Doors that way.